Trailblazers Courtside returns. Michael Holton to my right. I'm Adam Bjaranson, and there's Dr. Jack, Steve Blake. Blakey playing in Detroit now. Did you know that? I saw him on the because I forgot he got traded from the Brooklyn Nets over to Detroit.
Yes.
And I saw he's struggling from the field, but he's getting assists. That's what Blakey does. Hey, fans, to get the best seats to the most popular Trailblazer matchups while they last, individual game tickets on sale right now, but you've got to act fast. Call 844-RIP-CITY or visit trailblazers.com to get your tickets today. We've got a big one coming up tomorrow against the Utah Jazz. Then Thursday, Michael, a national TV date on TNT against the Memphis Grizzlies. I got my tickets. I'm going to go sit in the stands the one time we get a chance to do that this year and get to go cheer on the team.
I'm going to watch, too.
Are you?
Yep.
From where?
I'll be here. What are you talking about from where?
All right, let's get to Mike Barrett. He is in Salt Lake City. MB, what's for dinner tonight, my friend?
You know what? Haven't figured that out yet, but I will soon. But, no, it's kind of odd to go. You know, normally the Utah games are either a back-to-back with a West Coast team or it's a one game and back. So to come here and have a day off is a little bit strange, but it's always nice because I like Salt Lake City. It's a nice place to stop.
As far as early season wins go, Mike, there might not have been a more meaningful game this early in the season for this young Blazer team than last night. Really kind of validates what I think that they're about right now, and that is growth and development. We saw a lot of it on display last night. Talk about what you witnessed there at the end, because there were some great stops. Obviously, the Allen Crabbe was the most That was the part of the game that sealed it, but of course it was leading up to that, and I'm just curious how you kind of interpreted watching the game there.
Well, as impressive as it was down the stretch and in the fourth, quite frankly, the most impressive quarter they've played so far was the second quarter, and you come into a game like that when there's so much emotion, and not just the Flip Saunders, but the home opener. It's hard to beat teams on their home openers, because there's so much emotion. The crowd is jacked. The arena was packed, which was nice to see because there have been some years in Minnesota, some lean years, where they didn't draw real well. So the one time you're going to draw is like fan appreciation night, or you're going to draw an opening night. And then to get down 17, it just felt like, oh, geez, here we go. And to see them battle back as quickly as they did with their second unit against a really deep Minnesota team. Minnesota's got talent, and they're going to be a tough team to beat at home this year. And so to see them do that in the second quarter, and then again, you're starting to feel like perhaps Minnesota's getting momentum again, and then to see Portland come back, they have the 10-point lead with 5 minutes left. They come out of a timeout, give up a 3-point play, and then Towns hits his first three ever, and then it all of a sudden felt like it was going to slip away quickly. And to see him recover, get some big stops down the stretch, they got some good breaks. We know that. I thought the calls were correct with the exception of the jump ball. But what people haven't talked about is the jump ball prior to that. Towns had a hold of, and I talked to Mason Plumlee on the plane about this. He said, yeah, we both had a hold of each other on the crucial jump ball, but the one that happened right before that, he said Towns totally jumped into him, which he did, which is fine. That's what happens in jump balls. They're certainly inexact in the way that they're executed. So, they did get good breaks, but I thought that the offensive goaltending call was a good call. Our replay showed it was on the rim. The inadvertent whistle on the 24-second shot clock ball clearly hit the rim, so I thought that was interpreted correctly. But, those are the kind of games that are really important to win to get your confidence going early. Road wins in the West, I don't care where they are hard to come by, so that was huge.
It's a game of inches.
Yep.
Yeah. MB, watching this team play, the chemistry and their composure, they don't look like a group that is just now coming together. I mean, they don't hang their heads. They don't over-celebrate when they have good things happen. They're just steady, and that seems almost uncharacteristic for a team of a group of guys that haven't played much together.
No, and they're a reflection of their leader, and Damian Lillard, as he mentioned after the game, and I wanted to bring it up, and I wanted to bring it up in the interview, the post-game interview, a little more emphatically. But he got on the bus yesterday as we were going to head to the arena, and he stopped for a second. He's always very talkative, but he's always one of the first. In fact, he was the first player on the bus yesterday going to the arena, and he said, we talked about that as far as, he said I could be coming down and shooting every time. He said that it's more important for me to set everybody up and to try and lead by example in the way that we play unselfish basketball. And then his composure late and not letting, and you watch the timeouts. I mean, he's the guy that does a lot of the talking before the coaches bring the actual game plan into the huddle, and that's important. And the guys look up to him, and we've kind of gotten to the point where there is an unquestioned leader now, and that hasn't been the case in recent years. So, yeah, I think you're right, though, to get back to your initial point. We talked all night about Minnesota being a little disjointed. They're trying to figure out their rotation. Well, so is Portland. I mean, they have just as many new players. They have more. And so to get a win like that and to look as composed as they did, you're exactly right. The chemistry this early is great to see, and it's kind of surprising.
You know, another thing, MB, the back-to-back games with Phoenix I thought were quite telling in that Phoenix sold out to guard Dame and CJ. I mean, they sold out. They locked in, and they did really all they could. And I like the fact that Dame didn't press and CJ didn't press. And I think from that standpoint, this team has seen really as much intensity trying to take those guys out of the game that they're going to see.
I agree, and I think people underestimate how good Phoenix's backcourt is. I mean, you talk about Bledsoe and Knight. That's about as good as it gets in the West in backcourts. Bledsoe's a physical player, and they sold out to shut those guys down. And, and CJ getting 37 in the opener, that you knew that was going to happen. But, no, as far as, difficult backcourts that Dame and CJ will see, it doesn't get any better than what Phoenix has. And I think Phoenix is a team that's going to be fighting for a playoff spot in the West. I really am impressed with them. And I think Minnesota is a team that's going to win. They might win 30 games, maybe more than 30. That's what they're hoping. But we'll see. But, no, you're exactly right. And so people got down a little bit after those back-to-back losses, but that's, again, an awkward situation with a really long halftime. And granted, it would have affected both teams. But a tough game that they hung around. They didn't shoot well. Not a lot went their way, but the Blazers still hung tough. And then Phoenix played really well. Give them credit on Saturday getting that win. But last night, to right the ship and to prevent any kind of an early season drop-off in confidence was really necessary and really impressive.
And back to Phoenix for a second. Yeah, both their starters, starting backcourt, are both Kentucky products, MB. And, of course, their backups are also Kentucky products. Their backup 1 and 2 also from Kentucky. So, hey, like Phoenix, Utah, not an easy place to play for the Trailblazers. They've always fared, not too well there over the years. But what needs to happen for the Blazers to get the victory tomorrow in the SLC?
Well, and for the third time, they'll be facing a team hosting their home opener.
Right.
Utah is the only team now in the NBA that has not played a home game. So those are always emotional nights, but sometimes that can work in your favor. I think last night in some ways it did, that you can get so hyped so early, you go out and you kind of blow it the first, all of your energy out, and by the time your second win hits, you don't have one. And let's hope for Utah. I know that Derek Favors had the flu badly today, and so they were saying he's questionable for tomorrow. I mean, I'd be shocked if he missed the game. But Utah's interesting. They're another one of those teams that's on the rise. But the Trailblazers, I think, going off of last night's game, springboarding a little bit with some confidence and some poise. They played this team well in the exhibition season. No, I feel good about it. And if they could come back, with the split is one thing. They come back 2-0 after this trip, and maybe in past years you say wins at Minnesota and Utah, okay, you shrug your shoulders. Not this year. These would be two really impressive wins, and then, of course, it's back-to-back with Memphis on Thursday.
Beautiful. All right, MB, we're going to cut you loose. We do appreciate it. Holton and I, we've got our prediction show that we're going to do. So, yes. We got some sleeper picks, but we appreciate your time as always, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow when the Blazers take on the Jazz.
All right, thanks, guys.
You got it. Thanks, MB. Mike Barrett, Blazers TV play-by-play man, joining us from Salt Lake City tonight. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, get a little update on tomorrow's opponent, the Utah Jazz. MB throwing out some good stuff there. Possibly no Derek Favors tomorrow night. That would be enormous for Portland. Back with more Courtside after this time.